today's video is going to be a pretty big unhaul of books because you know me, I have no self-control when it comes to buying books at this point, but there are quite a few that I'm going to get rid of. Some of them are all the books from a certain author, some of them are an entire series that I didn't really enjoy, so we're just gonna get right into it. I have unhauled books before this, but I just sold those to my local bookstore like a couple months ago, but we have now accumulated quite a few books again that I really don't feel the need to keep these. So first off, let's start with some like witchy books that I just wasn't really that crazy about. So we're gonna be unhauling the entire X-Hex series by Ernest Sterling. So we have the X-Hex, we have the Kiss Curse, and we have the Wedding Witch. Now, the only one that I really liked out of the three of these was the first one. I thought the first one was really fun. Honestly, I don't feel like this needed to be a series. I feel like it would have just been better as a one-off because I did read the X-Hex as my Halloween read back in October last year. And then I didn't pick up the second book until like December, you guys, because I wanted to, and these, mostly all of these, yeah, I've read every single one of these books and I'm unhauling. So it's not like I haven't read them. I just don't feel the need to keep them anymore. And once I've read them, then that's it. It's not like I've wasted my money because at least I read them and that was the sole purpose of buying them so we could read them. I'm not just somebody who unhauls a bunch of books that I haven't read. It's usually just ones I don't feel the need to keep anymore, or books that I've rated like 4 stars or lower. 4 stars is still a great rating, but they're just ones I don't feel like I need to keep. Most of these are 3-star reads in here. So I didn't pick up the second book until December because I wanted to read the third book during Christmas. And this one was okay. It was still a fun time. It was a bit repetitive of the first one, but it was still fun. The third one was by far my least favorite. This is probably my lowest rated book that I'm unhauling because this book was just a hot mess. It just didn't really flow the way that the first two did, and it just like was, the plot was all over the place. And I was so confused to what was happening. And this book was the shortest one out of the three. I feel like they just threw this book together to put it out as a Christmas book. And honestly, I don't need to keep any of these. They're gonna look cute on somebody else's shelf who wants them, but I don't need to keep any of these. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna be unhauling. Where's the rest of these? I thought all of them were in this. I thought I had all the books from this author that I was going to be unhauling. Oh, I put them here. Duh. So the next ones I'm going to be unhauling is, I'm going to be unhauling all 3 of my Carly Fortune books. Yes, I know that her book covers are so beautiful. So we have Every Summer After, we have Meet Me at the Lake, and we have This Summer Will Be Different. I'm just not really crazy about Carly Fortune's writing. Honestly, these two, Meet Me at the Lake, honestly was really boring, and This Summer Will Be Different I did like more than Meet Me at the Lake, but honestly, after I read this, I have no desire to ever go back to it again. It was just okay. This was actually my favorite book from her, and I was getting the 5-star feeling reading this book, but then I don't mind the cheating trope as much as other people do, like especially if it's like super toxic characters, super flawed characters and stuff like that. Like the Magnolia Park series is a 5-star series for me. I don't know if it's a 6-star series like Boys of Tommen and Beartown, and Fourth Wing, but like the cheating trope in this one gave me the ick so bad. I still gave this book a 4 stars. And this, again, is still my favorite one, but I do not feel the need to keep this. But I am going to read her new book that's coming out soon, which is called One Golden Summer. I'm hoping I'm probably going to like this one more than the rest of these. But I bought these last summer. I read all 3 of them, so I have read all 3 of her summer books so far. It's just like, I feel like she tries to create flaws with characters that you don't really connect with. I don't know. That's just how I feel about her writing. I know a lot of people like her writing, but there's also a lot of controversy about that first book. But also, like, again, sorry, I need to grab my water. I'm getting thirsty already. I just had coffee and like half of this water bottle, but I need more. So yeah, we're gonna get rid of those. Okay, next up, I have one more Halloween book that I bought last year that I really just don't feel the need to keep. Oh, I'm unhauling 2 of them, actually. Let's just go through the rest of the witchy books. So we're going to get rid of Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. I actually adored this book. This book was so funny, and I really liked it. I think I gave this like a 4.25 stars. Like, this is probably my highest rated book that I'm getting rid of, but honestly, I don't need to keep this because, again, I'm just trying to create room for myself so I can display the books that I really, really love in this series that I really want to keep on my shelves, that I don't need this on the shelf as well. But it was still such a fun time. I am planning on reading the second one during Halloween this year, but it's only $5 on Kindle, so I'm just going to purchase it on there and read it on my Kindle. I don't need to go out and buy it, even though I've been so tempted to get it, but I don't need it. But I definitely enjoyed this series more, or this first book more so than the X-Hex series. So I would definitely recommend this series. This series is just so funny. So funny, and it's so fun. It kind of really reminds me of the Glimmer Falls series that I'm reading right now. And I'm on the 3rd book of that. You guys should be proud of me. I'm currently reading the 3rd book right now. That is my current read. It's called A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. And I'm so proud of myself that I'm going to be finishing that trilogy, because that's been on my TBR for like over a year. And then the last like witchy book I'm gonna get rid of is The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic. Like, people are so harsh with this book. They really do not like it, and honestly it's a little bit unjustifiable because I actually really, really liked this book, but I just, again, don't feel the need to keep it. I really just don't need it on my shelves. But I thought it was really good, and I'm gonna recommend it because even though there is somewhat of strong Christian themes in this book, it didn't bother me. Like, for me, reading about religion doesn't really bother me as long as you're not pushing, me to convert anytime soon, because I am Jewish. I actually am fascinated by, the backgrounds of, other stories in the Bible that I'm not familiar with. I want to learn more about it. The reason why people don't like this book is because, and I don't know why they marketed it as this, but they market this as like a cozy Gilmore Girls small town kind of vibe when it's not even remotely close to Gilmore Girls vibes. Like, if you want a Gilmore Girls vibes books, read the When in Rome series by Sarah Adams. That is small town Gilmore Girls vibes, like, to the T, like where everybody knows everybody. Or like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, even though those aren't the best written books ever by Laurie Gilmore, but you can definitely say that those give you Gilmore Girls vibes, like, to the T as well. But this one definitely doesn't, and it has T on the cover. But yeah, it was good. I wouldn't say this book was just okay. I actually really enjoyed this, but I do not need to keep it whatsoever. Okay, let's go through the rest of these, like, single books, and then we'll go through the series after this. So the next one I'm getting rid of is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaffer. Now, I liked this book more so than The Lost Story, and I actually have read both of her books now. I don't know why. This book was getting a lot of hype in, I believe, the beginning of 2024, or maybe it was the end of 2023. I can't remember which time. I really enjoyed this book a lot. I really liked the concept of this. I just don't know why more people have not noticed this about Meg Schaffer's writing. But she's trying to, like, emulate, like, timeless fairy tales. And she says that a lot of her inspiration is C.S. Lewis. But I just can't get past the adult jokes that she puts in her books, and, like, literally nobody mentions them. I'm like, is anybody gonna say that, like, I don't know, it's just really bizarre. Like, I still feel like an adult would enjoy this without having, like, these random adult jokes in between. Like, she did that in Lost Story too, and it kind of takes me out of the story, and it kind of, like, ruins the flow of like some of the magical themes that she's trying to incorporate, because I really enjoy them. And then I'm like, what the hell is this joke doing in here? I don't know. I just don't get it. That's why it's like, it lowers my rating of her books. So I don't know if I'm going to pick up another book from her, but we'll see. Okay, so we do have 2 thrillers in here that I'm getting rid of. The first one is Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter. I wanted to see why this book wasn't really talked about as much as I thought it should be, because it sounded really good, but honestly, once I read this, even though it's like a really short kind of format, like mixed media, like with video interview kind of manuscripts from like crime episodes, so that's basically the main concept of this, is that the whole story is told by like video interviews from the family, and to figure out who killed the person that died, obviously the person that was murdered. But it was just kind of poorly executed, and even though it should be shorter, I think this took me almost 3 days to finish this book, because it just got a little boring at the end, and I wasn't really feeling, I mean, it was still fun, it was still entertaining, but now I understand why this book isn't as hyped as it should be. I think I enjoyed this book more, but also I'm so mad that I could not return this book. Somehow I was outside of the return window of returning this. I probably wasn't, though, the last time I wanted to return it. Just the guy at Target just, like, could care less about helping me locate it. Because 99% of the time with Target, I don't have the receipt. I just return it with my Apple Pay. But if you don't have your Apple Pay, he did look it up with my license, but he didn't bother to look it up with the Target app. He was like, you have to have the receipt. Like, I can't do anything. I'm like, okay. But then when I came back, I think almost a week later, this is First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. The other lady behind the counter looked it up for me using the Target app, and I was like, I didn't know you could do that. She's like, yeah, just pull it up for me. And she was like, I'm so sorry, hon, it's past the return window. And I was like, damn it. But I did enjoy this, but as you guys know, I don't really buy thrillers unless it's something that I really, really want to read. And I was waiting for this to come out in paperback, and it finally did. And I did enjoy this. It was good, but there were some parts where I was getting a little bit bored, because this is really, like, not my type of thriller. And this was the last thriller that I've read physically. The last thriller that I had listened to was John Mars's new release. And I've only read 2 of his books. I just listened to You Killed Me First earlier this month, and that was, like, my full audiobook for this month. And I definitely prefer his thrillers over Ashley Elston's. Like, this was good, but I'm not really into heist thrillers. Like, I want something to creep me out. Like, I haven't read a thriller in a while that's, like, giving me the creeps. So, we'll see. Okay, next up is 5 Broken Blades by May Corlin. Now, I'm actually getting rid of quite a bit of my book of the months in here. I think I'm getting rid of, like, at least 3. So this one, I actually really did enjoy this book. I thought it was really good. I gave it a 4.75. So this is actually my highest rated book in this whole bag. But what I did find out is that all of these are going to be available on Kindle Unlimited. The second book said it was available on Kindle Unlimited before it even came out. This one wasn't available on Kindle Unlimited until I think like a couple of weeks after it came out, maybe like not even until like a month later. But this was actually my very first book of the month, and then I saw that it was coming out on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, damn it. But I ended up reading it on Kindle Unlimited. I didn't even end up reading the physical copy, and I also got the audiobook on Audible, because I think I got it with my credit, but also because this book is narrated by 5 different narrators, because it's 5 different POVs of the 5 assassins. So I definitely don't need to keep the physical copy, because again, I didn't even read it. So that kind of sucked, but it's fine. Book of the month. I got it for like $5. It's not like it broke the bank. Okay, and then next up is Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. Again, tell me why I got this. I got this before it came out. I was so happy that Book of the Month was featuring this book before it came out. But I didn't read it until after it came out. I read it like the last week of February, and I thought it was coming out like February, like later in the month. So I thought that I was going to have a chance to read it, like, you know, before it came out, but I didn't. I still really enjoyed this, but again, I don't know why I got this. I should have just purchased it on Kindle Unlimited or on Kindle because, but I still read this and I still listened to it on Spotify when I had listening hours, and I did really like this. But the first book I actually unhauled last year, even though, again, like that's one of my favorite covers I've ever had, but I ended up unhauling that and giving it to my local bookstore. But this one, I don't need to own this one if I don't have the first one. And it's the Book of the Month edition, so I really don't need it. But sometimes it's just impulse buys. Okay, then this one. Guys, there's better thrillers out there than this book, but I did really enjoy this book, and I think it was very well written, but I think that this book is so overhyped. I mean, good for her, but I think that this book is just too overhyped, and that is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I don't know why this book got, I mean, it does deserve the hype, but also, this is not a thriller. This is a mystery, and even though I was getting, like, a little bit of those cliffhangery kind of endings to chapters, I started to get a little bit confused as to follow who all the characters were in this book, because there was a lot of different POVs in this book, but then I did start putting it together, like, towards, like, you know, 2/3 of the way through this book. But I just think that this book was so unnecessarily long. It's like 475 pages. I'm like, there is no reason why a thriller needs to be this dang long. But, you know, I finished it. And again, it was definitely worth reading. I really did like it. But I feel like thrillers can get mismarketed a lot. And people can claim that something's a thriller when it's like, no, this is kind of more mystery, murder mystery kind of vibes. This is not a thriller, but I still really enjoyed it. But it's too, like, it's kind of the same thing with, like, Cruel Prince. It is so hyped up to be a romantasy, but it's a fantasy. It's right here behind me, my Cruel Prince collection. It's hyped up to be a romantasy, but no, it's a fantasy with a romance subplot. So that pisses me off too. And people, like, you know, if people are expecting something to be what they claim for it to be or what it's overhyped as, then some people are not gonna, they're gonna set their expectations pretty low, because, well, they're gonna have very high expectations, but after they finish it, they're gonna be like, what the fuck, this wasn't a romantasy, or what the fuck, wasn't a thriller. So it kind of, like, lowers the ratings of these authors that, you know, their PR team are mismarketing the genre of what it's supposed to be, but it's fine. I'm not the PR team. But anyway, the next one I'm going to get rid of is Richard Osman's The Man Who Died Twice. This is the second book in the Thursday Murder Club series now. I read the first book back in November, and I still have that one because I gave it a 5 stars. The second one I gave like a 3.75. I still really enjoyed this, but I've just decided that I don't need to spend my money on these books. I don't even know why I bought this, but I thought I was going to collect all 4 of them. But also, thrillers are damn expensive. These are $18, okay? Paperbacks have gotten so much more expensive than what they used to be. I remember paperbacks were like $12 or $13 or $12 to $14. Now you can't find a paperback for less than like $16.99. Even like, I mean, at least the YA books are cheaper, but adult books are expensive, all right? Hardbacks are fucking $30. Like, they're not cheap, but usually I buy most of my hardbacks used, or I just get them way cheaper. But, or I just get them with, like, my 10% off and my $5 rewards at Barnes & Noble. But anyway, I just decided I'm going to be reading these on Libby and just reading them with a library loan, because that just makes a lot more sense. I can just borrow the book anytime I want, and I can read it for free on my Kindle, so I'm just going to do that. But I still really enjoyed it, and I do recommend the series. I think the series is so fun. it's kind of like more cozy murder mystery, and at least that this is marketed on what it's supposed to be. But I also want to finish this series this year. I have the Bullet That Missed, which is the third book in the series, on loan right now from Libby, and I am planning on reading it within the next like 2 weeks. I've had that loan for like a month already though, and I keep on renewing it, but I am going to read it soon because I'm gonna be caught up with that series before the Netflix series comes out, and I'm so excited for that. I don't even know when that's coming out, but it's supposed to be a Netflix series. Okay, next up, I'm getting rid of Catherine Center's What You Wish For. I got this like last year, and I had bought Happiness for Beginners before this, and I read that as my second Catherine Center book, and then this was my third Catherine Center book. I really wish I would have been I didn't get what I wished for this book, because I wish I would have returned to this. You know, The Wishing Game and What You Wish For, and they kind of have a similar color palette too, but they just both didn't work out for me. This is actually my least favorite Catherine Center book. I just feel like she made the main character in this book so mean. And this is kind of an interconnected sequel to Happiness for Beginners, because it is based on Duncan, which is like one of the main characters in the first book. But he was just so dang mean. So yeah, I just didn't really enjoy this one that much, but I still love Catherine Center's writing. But I was like, girl, what were you smoking when you wrote that one? Because I did not really like it. Okay, next up is The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. Now, this actually became a movie, and I tried to watch the movie after I finished this book, but this book was so short, and it was such an easy read, and I did really enjoy it. This book is only like 200 and something pages, and I brought this up with me to upstate when I needed just like a really short book to read at the time, and I liked it, but I actually still have not read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And that book is huge by Gabrielle Zevin. And for some reason, this is the only one that I've read so far. I liked it, didn't love it, so there's no reason for me to keep this. But it was a good read for me to bring at the time, because I needed something short, because I was spending that weekend with my friends. So I needed something quick and something that I didn't really have to use much brain power to read. So it did work at the time, but I just don't need to keep it. And then the next one is Mahari McFarlane's Just Last Night. Now, I really did adore this book. It was very, very good, but it was so incredibly sad. And again, this book is mismarketed as a romance when people say this is more so like general fiction, because the romance plot in this, it's very conflicting. And it's kind of like almost like a love triangle kind of thing. And I did love some of the passages in this book, but I really see no reason to keep it. I think I rated it like a 4.25 or something, so I still rated it really high. But again, that's the thing, like when books are mismarketed, because I do want to read more of her books though, because again, this is the only book that I've read from her so far, and I really do want to read more of them. So, but just, I don't need to keep it. It was kind of just, a little bit of a letdown. But I did cry my eyes out, okay? I did, because it was sad. Okay, next up, I loved this book, but I don't need to keep this copy, and that is Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. Again, this is probably my highest rated book in this whole unhaul, besides Five Broken Blades. This one I also gave a 4.75. But it is my Book of the Month edition. I am thinking about possibly just picking up the regular edition of this with the beautiful, like, reflective edges. But also, the second book is coming out very soon. It's coming out, I think, in like 2 weeks. And that is called A Curse Carved in Bone. But I think I'm just going to purchase that on Kindle as well. I don't need to own the physical hardbacks of some of these. And also, like, these books get a little bit hard to hold, but I'm so excited to read the second one. But yeah, I don't need to keep this one. Okay, next up is another hardback. This one I actually got at BJ's last year. This one kind of gives like similar vibes to like White Lotus, and that is Mary Kay Andrews' Summer at the Saint. This is the only Mary Kay Andrews book that I've read. I think I gave this a 4 stars as well. This was really, really fun, and it was really good. But again, I just don't need to keep this. Like, I don't even have room for this at this point. But I really liked it, and I do want to read more books by Miss Mary Kay Andrews. But this one, it got a little bit predictable towards the end. It is a murder mystery, but I kind of figured out a couple of things that happened, but it was still really well written. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, don't need it. Next up is, this is actually the only series that I spend my money on because I got this last year during my birthday. Actually on my birthday, and I got it with 2 gift cards that one of my dear friends gifted me. But as gorgeous as these covers are, I don't want to keep this series on my shelf. Like, I'd rather display other series that I really love. I already filled that space with King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. Still haven't read them yet. I need to read those so bad, but I'm getting rid of the This Woven Kingdom series, and that is This Woven Kingdom, These Infinite Fates, and All This Twisted Glory. Yes, the covers are gorgeous, but I really just, I have Shatter Me right here. I have the full collection because I love those books. I can't believe that these books are by the same author, because if you guys saw my vlog on these, me reading this series, I really do not like this series as much as Shatter Me. It's just, it doesn't even compare, honestly. This series was just so slow to me, and I feel like it would just be grasping at straws to wait for something to happen in these books. Like, there was barely any action, barely any magic, and it just dragged on and on and on and on. And this is just a 3-star series for me. There was moments where I was like, I would get excited, and then it's like, oh, okay, we're being let down again. Great. So I just don't need to keep them. And then the last series I'm getting rid of is the Inheritance Games series. Now, I actually really do like this series, and I have the 2 hardbacks as well of the more recent books, but this is the original trilogy. So we have the Inheritance Games, we have the Hawthorne Legacy, and then we have the Final Gambit. I actually really like this series, and it's really fun. But honestly, I think I've aged out of this series at this point. I do feel like she is writing more mature books as you grow up with the series, and I really enjoyed that about certain authors. Like, I felt the same way about Shatter Me, is that the first couple of books started out very YA, but Shatter Me has darker themes than these books do. Like, yes, there is a couple of parts that are kind of dark, but I can't warrant or justify keeping these when, I mean, I love these covers so much, though. Like, it's kind of hard for me to get rid of these because I love them. And this was like, you know, one of my very first adventure mystery series, but again, I just don't need to keep these, but they're really, really good. And I would highly recommend you guys read them, because I would read the whole series. I actually really liked the Brothers Hawthorne. I know that's a controversial opinion, and again, the cover is just so freaking cool. But again, don't need to keep it. And then the last one, and probably the most recent book that I've read in this video, well, besides This Woven Kingdom, I read those back in March, so that was only a month ago. But the last one is Games Untold, and this one came out in November, so this is probably the most recently published one, actually. And I liked this, but I don't even know why I bought the physical copy of this. I mean, it's so pretty. And I bought the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition because I really, really love the color of this cover. I think the Target one is gold. And I don't know, I just really liked this color. But it's really pretty with, like, the key on the cover. And then the end papers have, like, the key. And I thought that this, like, you know, covered very dark themes as well. But honestly, there was really only one short story in here. It was almost 200 pages. I'm like, it's not even a short story anymore. I'm like, girl, this is a full-ass novella. Or it's like, it could be even considered like a full-ass book, because that was literally half of this book. The rest of them were like 50 pages, maybe, which were like short stories. But this one was like 200 pages, and that was definitely the best short story in this whole collection. But it was just like way too long. So yeah. That is it, you guys. That is my unhaul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was really fun to film because it takes like no time. And I really just wanted to film it before I take these books downstairs. I need to donate these at some point. But it always feels good to, declutter some things, and I just need to be a little bit more restrictive with the books that I purchase. And but honestly, it's been really hard since the new Barnes and Noble opened near me. It's really hard not to buy books, especially since I met girlies that I'm doing a book club with, and I'm literally so excited for our first meeting. But yeah, I need to have a little bit more impulse control. But nothing beats buying a book, all right? So please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Goodreads in the link below. Again, I forgot to do it when I uploaded my video yesterday. So I will link it below, or I will try to. And I hope you guys enjoy your day. Have a wonderful day and keep reading. Bye.